and welcome to the Flexitarian Feast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Eliz, and we are two home cooks trying to eat more plants. Thank you for joining us. This episode is all about dairy and dairy alternatives. Michelle, what kind of milk do you typically have at home?
Well, we usually have some sort of unflavored, unsweetened almond milk or cashew milk, or we've also gotten the Ripple pea protein milk. And my husband uses whatever one of those we have for cereal pretty much every day when he works from home. So that's what we usually always have. And then I'll have half and half for coffee. But I'll also use the nut milks just if I need a splash of something in a recipe. So what about you, Eliz?
Well, my kids, who are 2 and 4, they drink whole cow's milk. So we always have that, but they don't drink as much as they used to. But we always have that in the fridge. And then I buy lactose-free cow's milk for myself. I usually get 2%, which I mostly use for my coffee. And then we usually have some kind of non-dairy milk also, but honestly, I don't really love any of them.
Especially
in coffee.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really hot topic. We've talked about this a lot.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've tried them all in my coffee and I just can't get into it. Like, I hate how almond milk gets clumpy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
They all have like a specific, like the nut milk tastes very nutty.
Yeah.
But they're not thick enough or fatty enough to cut through the coffee.
Fat? I don't know. And I tried unsweetened macadamia nut milk for a while, which is very creamy.
Sounds like it'd be good.
It is good, but it definitely makes your coffee taste like flavored coffee.
Same thing with coconut milk. Like sometimes
exactly. It's
you were
good
saying
as coconut
like
coffee.
In another episode about how it's annoying when a recipe uses like half a can.
Right.
And sometimes when that happens, I'll like use the rest of that for coffee, but it's so coconutty. So sometimes it's kind of like a fun treat.
Right.
But I wouldn't want it all the time. So yeah, I always have half and half for coffee. Always.
Yeah. I've tried the Ripple pea protein half and half. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't.
It's good. I mean, I think it's probably the best
thicker?
option. I think they add oil to it.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm like, why am I drinking like pea milk with oil added to it? I'm just going to drink.
Right. And if like for you,
milk.
It's a lactose thing, you can just buy the lactose free kind.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not vegan, so.
Right.
But it is cool that there are so many options.
Totally.
For people who are vegan or who are avoiding dairy for health reasons or whatever.
I feel like every time I go to the store, there's more
options. Me too. There's always new ones.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So during the summer, I always make cold brew pretty much as soon as it stops raining. Well, in Portland, you never really know.
It never stops.
But like April, I guess late April,
up.
when it starts getting like not so cold, I start making cold brew and I just make like big batches of it. And then during that time, I kind of stop buying half and half and I'll just use the nut milk that we have.
Yeah, I do agree that I've made cashew milk and pistachio milk with iced coffee, and I think it was good too. Maybe it's just, I don't know what it is about the hot coffee. Yeah. I just really want cow milk.
I agree. I think it just tastes more intense or something. So like it needs that extra fat. I don't know what it is either. But
maybe it's like the acidity of the coffee.
Yeah, maybe. Does it come through more? I don't know enough about coffee science.
What do you order when you go out for coffee?
I usually just get coffee, like drip coffee or French press, and then I'll use half and half. But if I want to treat myself, sometimes I get a latte, and then usually I'll get almond milk or coconut milk. Or I've tried the oat milk. What do you think about the oat milk?
I do like the oat milk. And if I'm out at a coffee shop and I want to get a latte, that's what I usually get.
I feel like it doesn't have as much of the unique flavors that the nut milks have.
Yeah, it's less flavored.
It's like more neutral.
There is, so at Whole Foods, they have like 3 different kinds of Oatly. And I've tried the other oat milk brands too, and they're not as good. Oatly is really the best one.
I read that Trader Joe's has one now too.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't tried it yet. The one that is full, they have like a full fat version that is like the creamiest. And I think that's the best one.
Maybe I'll try it. I haven't tried many of those oat ones. At least I haven't bought it to have at home. I've only gotten it in like 2 or 3 lattes. And you said you've made nut milks. Do you feel like they're a lot better?
I do think that homemade nut milk is a lot better.
Is it easy?
It is very easy. You just soak raw nuts. So I've done cashews. I mentioned I made pistachio milk, which is kind of weird.
I love pistachios.
It sounds like a really great treat. And almond. And you just soak them overnight and then blend them with a high-powered blender. It's very easy to do. And then you can strain it. But with the cashews, you don't really have to strain it because they're so soft.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's basically the same as cashew cream, which we're going to talk about later.
But yeah, I do think that it is really great to make your own if you feel like it, and if you have the time and you have the blender and you want like a cute Instagram moment where you're like, I just
Made my own milk.
Made my own nut milk. If you have like a nut milk bag that you want to use. I mean, I don't know. There are just so many options. I think if you do want to make your own plant-based milk, you should look at the Minimalist Baker website because she has extensive recipes on all different kinds of alternative milks to
That's
make.
cool.
And she'll often add like, you can add like a date to sweeten it a little bit or something like that. So, and she just posted a recipe recently for making your own oat milk. So if you want to like dive into that a little bit, that's where I would recommend checking it out.
I will definitely check it out. It sounds like a fun little experiment. What else can we talk about?
Let's talk about cheese.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk
cheese.
about cheese.
Cheese is so good. What's your favorite cheese?
I think my favorite right now is goat Gouda.
I love goat Gouda.
I love it. It's just like creamy. Even my husband likes it, and he always says he doesn't like goat cheese, but whenever I get that, he likes it. But it's a different texture. It's not that like soft,
right,
crumbliness. I also really love cotija and Gruyere and pepper jack, and so I usually have at least one of those in the fridge.
I love all of those.
Yeah,
delicious. I mean, I love most cheeses.
Me too.
But I really love feta also.
Oh, yeah.
And I use that to top salads a lot and just to put on top of vegetables. And then everybody in my family likes Humboldt Fog, which is this, it's like the best cheese ever. It's like a goat cheese on the inside, kind of that crumbly texture. And then as you move out to the rind, it's like more bloomy and like a brie kind of. It's really good. It's so very expensive. So I don't buy it very often.
It's really
maybe like once or twice a year.
Indulgent though.
Yeah.
I know. It's so tasty. I love that stuff. So
tasty. And I also really love hard cheeses, especially the kind that have those crunchy crystals in them.
Oh, yeah, like the really aged.
Yeah, like the really
cave-aged
exactly.
or whatever. Yeah.
So good.
So good. So have you found, being lactose intolerant, that you have less options or that you're finding some cheeses more difficult than other cheeses? Or
that's a great question. A lot of cheese is actually naturally very low in lactose. Even cheddar is pretty low in lactose because it's an aged cheese. An easy way to tell if a cheese has lactose in it or not is to look at the sugar or the carb content. If you're buying like a packaged cheese, if it's 0 sugar, there's no lactose left in it, and so it is lactose free, or essentially lactose free. So the only things that are pretty high in lactose are soft or wet cheeses like ricotta or cream cheese. And like milk and ice cream and those kinds of things are pretty high in lactose.
That's so interesting.
Yeah,
so, that's cool.
I know. You can still basically, if you are lactose intolerant like I am, you could basically still eat a lot of dairy products. You just can't eat too much of it.
Yeah.
And just avoid the really creamy things.
I even just like bought those little tiny mozzarella balls.
Yeah, mozzarella is pretty low in lactose.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to check this now that I know this sugar thing for Mila's. And they had 0 sugars. I was like, oh, look.
Exactly.
And I don't have a problem with lactose, but it's interesting. Like, it's good to know in case you're hanging out with people that are, or if you want to take something to a group and you don't know what people's intolerances are, just to know that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. I think we should talk about homemade macaroni and cheese. Do you ever make this?
I love macaroni and cheese, but I really don't make it at home. I think maybe it's because I feel like if I'm going to make it, I want to make a lot of it, and then we don't eat it fast enough or something. So I always keep the boxed ones on hand for really lazy nights, or my husband will make it. Sometimes if I'm out, it's like one of the few things that he'll make on his own. And then we always put in whatever vegetables we have in the freezer, or if there's like stuff in the fridge that needs to get used up. And there is a 1-pot pasta recipe that I make sometimes with orzo, and it just has tons of milk and cream and cheese and spinach. And I've made that a bunch. And my youngest nephew, when he tried it, he said I was the best chef ever.
Oh my gosh, that's the best compliment you could ever get.
After that, he wanted his mom, my sister-in-law, and me to have like a chef cook-off.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah. So
I love that.
I like making that because I could it's easy to half it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do also get mac and cheese when we go out sometimes because it's just so much richer than whenever I make anything like that at home. It's like a nice treat. So what about you? Do your kids eat a lot? Do you make a lot?
I don't make it very often, but if we're going out for like a date night or something, I will make it for my kids. We were talking about this earlier. They are super picky about boxed mac and cheese, which is annoying to me.
I think that's so funny.
They're so funny about it, but whatever. I usually serve it with peas if I do make it. There's a couple brands they do like. I always have frozen peas on hand. And so for Charlie, because he's littler, I put the frozen peas right into the hot macaroni and cheese. And then by the time the peas are thawed, the macaroni and cheese has cooled down a lot.
That's really smart. Is he really sensitive to temperature?
Yeah, I think both of my kids are like always upset about food being too hot.
I was thinking about that too, because last night I was hanging out with my friends that have kids, and one of them is 3, and she's really funny that way too. She's always like, "It's too hot, it's too hot,"
and you're like, "No, it's not that hot.
Not that hot." But she's like, "Blow on it."
I know it has to be like frozen, cold.
It's cute, but it's kind of funny how kids are. But that makes sense to like just let them.
Yeah, if you put frozen vegetables into the food, you don't have to cook them.
Right, and if the peas are small enough, like
exactly,
that's really smart.
Yeah, Ryan, when we were dating, like a million years ago, he would make one of the things he used to make was boxed macaroni and cheese with tuna.
Oh yeah, I've done that too.
Corn or peas.
Yeah, I've added tuna in before too, just to add some protein or.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like tuna casserole, but like super lazy.
Totally, exactly. It's very lazy, but delicious.
It's easy.
But macaroni and cheese from scratch is actually super easy to make.
It is.
If you can make a cheese sauce, and if you can put cheese sauce on like anything, you just want to do like equal parts of butter and flour in a pot, and then whisk it until it's really incorporated, and you can even let it get a little bit brown. And that's making a roux, and then you just add milk to it and let that heat up, and then put cheese in, and you can use any kind of cheese you want. That will melt. I mean, most cheese will melt. So
yeah.
You can get creative with the spices
sometimes when
too.
I make the box mac and cheese, I'll add in some fresh shredded cheese too, just to like amp up the cheese flavor. Because sometimes those powder things are just not cheesy enough for me.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Ina Garden has a macaroni and cheese that is made out of is all Gruyere.
Oh, so
you would
good.
love that.
I would love that.
It's like literally the most expensive macaroni and cheese you could ever make.
Yeah, I think the best one that I've ever made is from Martha Stewart, and it has like this crunchy. It's not just breadcrumbs on top; it's like cubed bread tossed in butter that you just like put on top.
That sounds delicious.
So it's like this really good like croutons on top, basically.
Why not?
Oh, it's so delicious. But yeah, it's kind of like too much. Like
that's a lot. That's like stuffing macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just on the top, but yeah, it's just really, 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 really good.
Sometimes if I'm making a cheese sauce, I will add pureed pumpkin or sweet potatoes to the sauce just to give it a little bit more
I did
depth
that
of flavor.
Too recently too. With the boxed one, I just I had made a butternut squash soup.
Oh yeah, just throw a little of that soup in.
I just mixed it in because I was like, I gotta use this up.
Vegetable, boom, done.
Yeah, and it doesn't change the flavor that much. Or the color. I mean, especially for kids, it's probably really smart.
Who are sensitive to color, that would be a good way to add a little veggies in there.
Love it. What about the Instant Pot?
Oh yeah, I did this once, but I don't really make macaroni and cheese that often, so it didn't become a thing. But I know you can do. There's this recipes for the Instant Pot macaroni and cheese where you put like the dry pasta in the Instant Pot with like the water.
You don't mix it, right?
You know, you just like put it all in the Instant Pot, you cook it, and then you like stir the cheese in, and it melts.
I've never done any kind of pasta in the Instant Pot because I'm afraid it's going to get too
People love it.
cooked.
People love Instant Pot pasta.
Yeah.
The internet goes crazy for it.
One of these days I'm going to try it, but
they have like red sauce recipes too.
Yeah, I feel like the main rule of thumb is like whatever the package says to do al dente, you do half the time.
Oh.
So I think that's sort of like the general rule of thumb. So maybe like heartier, thicker, like bigger noodles, maybe not bigger, but like penne would be better than orzo,
right?
Because orzo cooks really
just
quick.
Mush.
So like, I think that's maybe I don't know. I've never tried.
You should try it.
I will.
You should try it and report back.
I will. When we have our pasta episode, I'll talk about that.
Oh yes, let's definitely have a pasta episode. We can talk about gluten-free pasta and how gross it is.
Totally. So what about non-dairy cheese or those sort of things?
I have not really tried any non-dairy cheeses, to be honest. There is a cashew queso from Trader Joe's that I really like.
Yeah. I bought a similar thing like that from
it's delicious.
A different store. I don't remember the brand, but it was really good.
Yeah, it's good. But have you do you buy dairy-free cheese?
I don't buy them a lot. I like those cashew quesos. And that's basically just cashew cream with like a ton of spices and stuff in it. But I know that the Follow Your Heart vegan cheese, they make slices. They're really good. They taste surprisingly like real cheese. And they also make like shredded cheese, crumbles, or I don't know what they're called. Shreds, I guess, probably. And so their cheeses are good, but I usually just buy regular cheese instead because I'm not vegan. But I love trying these things. I love
trying them too. This is like the non-dairy milks. Like, I don't really like them very much, but I still keep trying them.
Right. Yeah, it's
Because
like
I'm
good
just
to have other
curious
options.
about it.
And,
Yeah, exactly.
And if I ever did decide to be vegan, or if I was going to make something for vegan people,
Right, it's
I
good to
would
know.
want to know what options I have. So yeah, I know the Follow Your Heart brand's good. I made tofu ricotta once, which was basically
Ooh.
just like crumbling up tofu and seasoning it with like nutritional yeast and salt and stuff. And then it
That
was for
sounds
like
really
lasagna.
good.
So you just layer it in, and ricotta doesn't have a ton of flavor
No,
on
it
its own
doesn't.
anyway. You always have to add salt and whatever and herbs. So it's basically the same consistency once it's crumbled. So that works pretty well for like a lasagna. I think when I made that, I was like, I should have had more salt, but
That's
I
a
mean,
great idea. I think I actually would love to try
that's
that.
the main thing with tofu. Anytime is like you just have to really season it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? What else have I tried? I use nutritional yeast a lot, which
Yeah.
my husband and I were just talking about this earlier tonight. Like nutritional yeast is good and it can be used like cheese, but it's not the same as cheese. But it
But it gives that kind of cheesy,
like
nutty flavor.
It does. It's like a nutty like Parmesan effect kind of.
Yeah.
There's a fancy cultured coconut oil fake butter that I really want to try. The company is called Miyokos.
Oh, I've tried their cream cheese.
Yeah.
They're like, I accidentally bought the Lox version of it. It was very strange.
Yeah, I think
it
they
was
make all
vegan.
kinds of
Yeah.
cheeses. That does sound weird.
Their
though.
butter is supposed to be the best. I have also read that is like the
I
best
keep meaning
vegan
to try
butter.
it,
Yeah.
but I don't normally buy butter anyway. I guess I usually just use olive oil for stuff.
Yeah.
So and sometimes I guess I like having the Smart Balance in the for like if I was
For
gonna have
baking?
bread. No,
Oh.
because like it spreads easily. You
Oh,
don't. It
like
doesn't
for
have to
toast?
be soft like out on the counter. So I like having those for if I was making toast
Yeah.
or I guess that's the main thing. Bread with soup.
Yeah.
But so I don't buy like butter, so I never really think to look for the vegan butters. And I go through it slowly, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm not sure, but that stuff's probably more expensive than
I'm sure it is.
these
more
other
expensive,
things, but
yeah.
I still really want to try it.
Oh yeah. I mean, why not? I think it's so cool that there's all these products.
The Lox one that you mentioned sounded weird, cream cheese.
It is weird, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, "Whoa, what is wrong with this cream cheese?" And I was
Well,
like,
especially
"Oh,
for it not to really have lox in it. Like I wonder why,
it was very smoky. It was like smoked fish
but not
flavor."
but not good.
I don't know.
It was just weird.
It was weird.
I
I think
bet
it
they
was just
probably
kind of weird.
have,
The
like,
texture
other-
was not. I mean, the texture's a little different than cream
Yeah.
cheese, of course.
They probably have other like more plain flavored ones that would be better.
I would try their plain cream cheese because
Yeah.
cream cheese is a food that I can't eat, and they do make lactose-free cream cheese, but I'm also interested in trying vegan versions of it.
Yeah, I bought a vegan sour cream one time. There's a few different kinds, I think, but I don't remember what brand it was that I bought. But it was a coconut milk one, and I tried having it in like chili or something. It just was too coconutty, like too sweet tasting. That did not really work for me. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There
I
are
don't
so
know.
many interesting products to try.
Yeah,
Like,
there really are.
I don't know. There's so many. Oh, the Toby's tofu dips are really
I
good.
love those dips.
Yeah, they're
I think it
super
tastes like
tasty.
egg salad.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, they do kind of taste like egg salad. They also remind me. Do you remember those crackers, chicken and a biscuit?
oh my gosh, yes.
So I feel like they have the same like herbs or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
what
they
it
still
is,
make those
but
crackers?
I think so. I haven't had them in a long time, but probably
they probably
they
do.
probably do. Let's see what else.
Should we talk about yogurt?
Yeah, yogurt.
All right. I love yogurt. We eat a ton of yogurt in our house. I mostly get plain full-fat Greek yogurt and then top it with honey or jam.
Yum.
And then nuts or granola or
Yeah.
fruit, that kind of stuff.
That's delicious.
But I also like to use yogurt as a savory sauce. So you can just mix yogurt with like lemon juice and dill and maybe some garlic and salt. And that makes a really great simple sauce that goes really well with grilled meat or vegetables or grilled tofu. Or any dip that uses sour cream, you could replace it with yogurt or you could just use sour cream.
Yeah, I
'Cause
love
sour cream is great, too.
using yogurt too in savory things. Every time I make some kind of like lemony yogurt or herby
Yeah,
yogurt,
so
I'm like,
good.
this is
Or, like,
it
on
makes
salmon.
the meal for me like
Yeah, me
almost
too.
every time. So I need to do that more.
I also have used yogurt to marinate chicken before, which is kind of like using buttermilk. Kind of,
Oh, yeah.
it helps the chicken get really
Because
tender.
it's so acidic.
Yeah. Have you made that buttermilk chicken from Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat?
No, I haven't.
It's delicious.
I love fried chicken though, so if
It's
you
not
ever
fried
want to
chicken.
make it for me,
It's
oh,
just
it's not.
roast chicken,
Oh,
but it's good.
I'm sure it is.
It has a crispy, crackly. I should make it for you.
You
I
should.
would make it for you.
I would love that.
I've got chicken in the freezer with your name on it.
Just tell me when I'll be
All
there.
right, let's do it.
what do you do when you want to cook something with cream? Like what option do you use for dairy in cooking?
So of all the non-dairy milk alternatives, I probably use coconut milk the most.
Yeah, me
I
too.
bet you do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always have a couple cans of it in the pantry, and I always have the full fat one.
Yep.
A recipe that I really like with coconut milk is from Julia Turshen's, I think it's from her first cookbook, Small Victories, and it's curried lentils with coconut milk, and it's super easy. You just bloom a bunch of spices, which means you just cook them for like 10 minutes.
Like heat them up, basically.
You just heat them up and let them get
smell good.
Exactly. It smells really good. And this is like such a pantry meal. And then you add like a shallot and garlic, and then you just add like a can of coconut milk, and then you fill the can up with water and dump it in and add the lentils, and then bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer for 20 minutes.
Yummy. That sounds so good.
It's super easy, super simple.
Yeah, I have that cookbook too,
really
and it's like one of the recipes that I've always been meaning to make, but I just somehow haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of coconut milk lentil recipes out there.
Right. But it's a good combo.
It's a good combo.
Yeah, really is.
What else do you do with coconut milk?
What else do I do with coconut milk? Well, I love coconut rice for one.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I recently made a butternut squash soup that used coconut milk as to like make it creamy.
Yum.
And I was a little nervous about it, but I've made like curry with, like a coconut milk curry, so I figured it'd be fine. And it was really good. And I've done the same thing with a broccoli soup. Like instead of having cheese and milk and stuff, it just blended up broccoli basically with coconut milk. And I was a little worried about that one, but it was really, really good. It tasted really good. It was like super balanced and
I wouldn't have guessed that because coconut milk is sweet and broccoli is kind of
it worked out well. Like, and it wasn't.
I will try that.
Yeah, it wasn't like a ton of coconut milk. I feel like it was just enough to make it creamy without adding like gobs and gobs of cheese.
Right.
And it was pretty blended, so it wasn't like chunks of broccoli with coconut. I don't know.
That sounds
really good. It worked out well. Yeah.
What? Okay, can you explain to me what cashew cream is? I've never made it.
Well, I can try. I've only made it a few times, and I've just had it. I feel like a lot. It's like the vegan queso that you're talking about is basically cashew cream.
Right.
So all you really do, it's kind of the same that you mentioned making the milks. You just soak cashews like equal amount, like a cup to a cup. Soak it for however long. If you have a really good blender, you don't even have to soak them. Just blend it up.
Yeah.
So you can soak it for like an hour up to overnight. Blend it up, and then you just add in like lemon, salt, whatever seasonings. You can make ranch dressing. You can use it with pasta. Like you can make Alfredo sauce.
Oh, that sounds good.
You can make. You can use it to make like artichoke dip. Like a hot dip. Any kind of hot dip that you would normally use, like cream cheese or yogurt, I guess. You can use cashew cream and just have to season it really well. And
I really want to try that. I feel like, so my kids love hummus, so I feel like a cashew cream dip would look similar to hummus.
Well, you can make onion dip or, any kind of like classic cream dip.
Yeah, they probably would love that. They love cashews too.
And it seems like they like nuts. So like I love anything that has nuts. Even ice creams, I always pick the ones with nuts.
Me too. Like peanut butter ice cream is my all-time favorite
peanut
flavor.
Butter ice cream, that sounds good. I just love anything with any kind of nuts, and pistachio is my favorite. So,
is it?
Yeah.
Eben Beam has a really good pistachio, salted pistachio.
Ooh, I'll have to try that.
It's like almond milk, I think. Oh, it's so good.
I haven't tried that.
They don't always have it.
Speaking of ice cream,
oh my god, I love ice cream. Which one do you like the best?
I really like Coconut Bliss if I'm going for a vegan one. They have just really good ones. And at Burgerville here in the Northwest,
you can make it a bliss.
Yeah, you can make any milkshake with coconut milk.
It's delicious.
It's so good. I love it so much. And then there's also a place here that makes chickpea ice cream.
Have you had it?
I tried it one time before. It was before they opened. They were like at an event doing samples. And I was surprised. It was pretty good.
I thought it was better than I thought it would be.
I could imagine that some flavors would be better than others. Like it might not work well with like more delicate flavors because chickpeas, I don't want to say they have a strong flavor, but they're kind of like not chalky. That seems bad, but they're they're really dense.
Yeah, they are really dense.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that place is great. I think it's called Little Bean.
Yes, that sounds right.
And it's over in Northwest, I think, if you are local to Portland.
Yeah.
So another thing I like to do with coconut milk is make ice cream with it. And this is a friend of mine taught me this like a million years ago. You just get a can of coconut milk and then you put it in your ice cream maker and you can like stir a little sweetener in. You can use maple syrup or agave or sugar or whatever. And then you just like run your ice cream maker.
I think that I remember you telling me this a long time ago, and I did it and it was great. And you can add in whatever you want.
You can put whatever you want. And she served it. I just will never forget this dessert that she brought to a party with like stone fruit. It was so good. It was like this most beautiful seasonal fruit, and then the coconut ice cream, and it was like delicious.
Man.
It was so easy.
Good.
It's like, and so now every time I'm like, oh, I should make ice cream, and I look up a recipe, and it's like, make a custard, do this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna like pour a can of coconut milk in the machine and be done.
I got rid of my ice cream maker because I never used it, and we lived in this tiny place, and I was like, I just don't even want to look at this thing anymore because I never used it.
Yeah,
but I should have done that more often because it is a really smart. That's a really
it's very
smart
impressive
trick.
too for like a party or something.
Yum! I love ice cream.
I do too. You can borrow my ice cream maker if you ever want to.
Okay.
So as far as like sweets go, I also will sometimes buy, so I know we talked about Ripple a lot in this episode. I will sometimes get the Ripple chocolate milk as a treat for my kids.
That sounds good.
It's actually very good, and it has significantly less sugar than regular chocolate milk.
Do you think it tastes just like regular chocolate milk, or is it more like Yoo-hoo?
Well, that's a good I don't actually never know what Yoo-hoo tastes like. Like Ovaltine, maybe?
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it tastes like regular chocolate milk.
I'm going to try it because I haven't had chocolate milk in so long. I think
it's pretty good.
I feel like there was a while back we were driving somewhere, like probably on a road trip, and for some reason we bought a Yoo-hoo, just like probably out of pure nostalgia, like, oh, dang, let's buy this. I hated it.
Yeah.
So
what is it? It's just,
I don't know. It's
probably like chocolate flavored drink or something. Yeah.
So it has a different flavor, and it's also like thinner.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Ripple's, I think it's good.
I'm gonna try it. It sounds good.
And then we should talk about eggnog.
Oh, I forgot about the eggnog. Yeah, so
good.
In the stores right now, because it's like the holidays are coming, there's all these non-dairy eggnogs. And last year I bought one just out of curiosity, and then I was like, I'm never buying regular eggnog again. I think
it's better too. I also think non-dairy is better.
It's so good. The coconut milk one is specifically. It's sort of like, reminds me of like if you ever get chai. And you get chai with milk and it's good, but then you get it with coconut milk
better.
And it's so much better. It's like the spices work so well with the nuts and the coconuts. So, and then I'll just add in like a little bourbon and
then you are set.
I really like the great fresh nutmeg on top.
Oh, you've got to have the fresh nutmeg. It's
really
all about
takes
the fresh
it over
nutmeg.
the top.
I like making real eggnog too.
I've never made real eggnog.
It's intense. It has a lot of eggs in it.
I think I've had it at your house.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had it in my house. A lot of nutmeg grated on top.
Also Trader Joe's has a really good coconut whipped cream.
Oh, I've never tried that.
It's like,
I should get that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you should. It's not the like aerosol kind. It's the kind in a tub.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like Cool Whip?
Yeah, like Cool Whip.
Oh,
but it's really good. Yeah, somebody brought it to something I don't remember, and it's super good.
All right. I know you can make coconut whipped cream from like a can of full fat coconut milk, and then you put it in the fridge so it separates.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably what that is. But if you don't want to take the time to do it,
you can just buy it.
Just buy it at Trader Joe's.
Perfect.
They probably have it other places too. I haven't looked.
I'm sure they do.
So if you're listening and you have a really great non-dairy product or advice you want to share about this topic, then you can definitely let us know on our Instagram or our website.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. Do it. Do it. All right, now it's time for our recent feast segment where we each talk about a delicious meal that we have made recently. Michelle, what do you have for us?
Well, I have kind of like a really tasty, easy thing that I just threw together, and I didn't expect it to be super memorable or worth talking about, but it ended up being really tasty. So I had one like pretty big, good-sized zucchini and 2 cups of already chopped up butternut squash that I had left over from that soup that I made, and an onion. So I just diced them all up and tossed them with olive oil, salt, and lemon pepper, and I split them up between 2 cookie sheets so they wouldn't be too crowded. On one of the pans, I added 2 sliced up Beyond Meat hot Italian sausages, which are really good.
I want to try those.
They're really tasty. So in this recipe, they kind of got a little overcooked, but I should have added them in a little later probably. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so one of the cookie sheets I put on the sausages, and the other one I put on some potatoes. Yum. So I roasted all these, and then in the last 5 minutes, I just threw on I had like half a pint of cherry tomatoes just sitting on the counter. And I had chopped them up and tossed them with a little balsamic vinegar. So I threw those on the same pan with the sausages. And so all that kind of just made like this perfect amount of sauce. And we served it with brown rice and put a little cotija on top and Frank's.
I love Frank's.
Oh, Frank's Red Hot's the best.
It's the best.
And then the other one that had the potatoes, I just boxed it up and we had it for breakfast, with an egg on top. It's like a really easy hash. So a lot of times if I'm making roast vegetables, I'll just kind of do that. I'll make extra and plan to use it later.
I always do that too. Because if you're roasting vegetables, you might as well roast 2 pans.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. So especially with that, I just was like, first I had the potatoes on both, and I was like, well, I'm making rice, so I'll just do the potatoes separate.
That was smart.
For breakfast later. So it sounds like so basic, and I didn't really add a lot of seasoning, but it just was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was just
and
so
you have
good.
the Franks.
Yeah, Franks.
And cotija.
So what about you, Eliz? What have you made recently?
Well, I have been kind of in a cooking rut lately. Like, the kids have been sick, and Ryan was traveling for work, and I just haven't had a lot of energy to think about dinner.
Yeah.
And then make dinner, and then clean up dinner, and it's just been kind of like...
And it's dark at 4 o'clock.
It's dark at 4 o'clock, which is like... Every year I forget that it's going to be dark at 4 o'clock, but every year it is dark at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
So we've been doing like a lot of really simple things, like breakfast for dinner or sandwiches, whatever.
Yeah.
But I am trying to do some new recipes that seem simple. And so I was kind of just like looking on the internet, and I was planning to do grilled cheese sandwiches and salad for dinner. Mm-hmm. And I saw this recipe on that Shutterbean posted, which she is one of my favorite food bloggers.
Yeah, she's
of
really
all
good.
time. She's just like one of the original amazing.
She is. She's been around forever.
She's so great.
Yeah.
And I think this might be an old recipe, but it's for sweet and sour roasted delicata squash. And it was like, I was like, that's it. I'm making it for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Because I was so inspired by the photo of it. And I had a bunch of delicata squash. And my kids like delicata squash, and we all love it. So this recipe is great. You just cut the delicata squash up. And then you also want to roast it on 2 sheet pans so it doesn't steam.
Yeah.
So you need to get that really brown... You want that really brown color, and then you flip it. And I took the time to flip them all so they would all be good.
Do you slice them in the rings? Like I see it on here. It's like she sliced it in rings. I have
done that, and I was trying to move fast for this. And so I cut it in half and then scraped the seeds out and then did it in like half circles.
Like half circles. Yeah, that's what I usually do too.
But you could definitely do it in rings. It just takes longer. It looks cooler.
It does look really cool.
Anyway, so then you flip it and then keep roasting it. And while it's roasting, you make a glaze that has sriracha, lime juice, and honey.
So you just roast them plain.
Roast them plain, which was great because my kids are not going to like sriracha because it's too spicy.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I could just set some aside for them. And then I tossed the rest with the glaze for us. And it was so good. They were kind of like French fries.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm actually
so
going to make this again tomorrow night for dinner.
Was there like olive oil or anything? Or just
olive oil,
okay, yeah, okay. That
it's just like so
really
simple,
good.
and delicata is so good and sweet and delicious.
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's really good.
They're like also the perfect size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like the butternuts makes even if you get a small one, I feel like I'm eating butternut squash
forever
for days.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
So
it was really good. Small. I would highly recommend this recipe.
I'm gonna try it. That sounds so good. What did you have with it?
I did make the grilled cheese sandwiches, but I usually just like put bread on a rack in the oven and put cheese on it, and I'm like, grilled cheese sandwich. But I was like, no, I'm gonna do something exciting. So I like got out my panini press,
nice,
and I had some like salami and some manchego left over. So I made like a fancy grilled cheese with like spicy mustard. Yeah, it was good. I wish I had some sauerkraut, but
that'd be good.
It was really. It was actually like a very delicious dinner. I'm so glad like I just like inspired myself to Tracy Benjamin inspired me to like make that delicata.
Sometimes just like in that case, what I would do too is I'd be like, well, I have these squash to use. And then I just like search my recipe app, which we'll talk about another episode. Yeah. And like, I'll just
next week, I'll just
scroll through and through until I find something that sounds interesting that I don't have to buy a ton of ingredients for.
Oh, totally. I feel like, we're going to talk about this, I guess, next time too, about meal planning. I am a big meal planner. And that's mostly because I don't have like the luxury of time anymore because I have little kids. And so it's like, it was just really fun to like think off the top of my head, like, ooh, what should I make for dinner? Because I don't get to do that very often anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of how my thing was too. I was just like, I got to use up all this stuff.
You got to use it up. Got to eat it up.
I don't want to be bored. So how can I make this interesting?
I know. It was just, I don't know. I do feel like a little bit like I'm in a rut, but I'm trying some new things this week. And
good. That's fun. Yeah. Trying stuff is helpful, I think. And you can always ask me if you need ideas. Sometimes I could search my recipe app for you.
Can you search your recipe app for me?
So I guess that's pretty much all we have this time. We're going to be back in 2 weeks talking about meal planning and recipe management. So make sure you subscribe so you can be notified when we have a new episode. You can find us online at theflexitarianfeast.com or on Instagram at theflexitarianfeast. A huge thank you to our producer, Tiki Sound. I'm Eliz. And I'm Michelle, and we'll see you next time. Until then, eat lots of plants.